Alright, so the daughter, 2015, although it seems to be anything from 2014 to 2016, but I'm going for 2015. Directed by Simon Stone, who's responsible for the screenplay, and the cast. Paul Snyder plays Christian Nielsen. Geoffrey Rush is his father, Henry Nielsen. Ewan Esley is Oliver Finch, a childhood friend of Christian's, and Charlotte, husband. Miranda Opito is Charlotte Finch, who's Oliver's wife. Odessa Young is Hedwig Finch, Charlotte and Oliver's daughter. And Sam Neill chips in with a minor role as Oliver's father, Walter Finch. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got a brief plot. Okay. Christian returns home to New South Wales from America for his father Henry's wedding to his young maid Anna. The reasons for why Henry is a benefactor to the family of Christian's childhood friend hangs over the film. That's Oliver. But as the secrets are revealed and lives are destroyed, in the process, the film never quite reaches the tragic heights of the play. It's based on a play, The Wild Duck. It's contemporary Australia. It's a family drama. The economic malaise. Henry owns the factory in the company town where the story takes place, and the downturn forces him to shut down the factory, causing the community to disintegrate after its inhabitants lose their means of livelihood. The daughter equates the social traumas of Henry's victims with their economic fates. Like the capitalist villains of so many German expressionist and early Soviet films, Henry is portrayed as the cause of everyone's suffering. And while it's Christian's big month that sets off the film's catastrophic sequence of events, he's ultimately too pathetic of a figure to deflect the general indignation away from Henry, a kind of primal father to all are beholden for both their joy and misery. Okay, we've got a gist of that. Sounds like a right bellyful. The film opens with Rush loading up a shotgun, and it appears that a bird, not quite sure what type of bird, looks like it could be a swan or a young swan maybe. Anyway, the wing is badly damaged, and it appears they're going to put it out of its misery. And then we see the metaphor of a factory, which one suppose is linked to the demise of the factory. Rush is there then verbally or through audio captures the moment when he tells the workforce that they're being made redundant, and of course he's lost the final contract on a mill, a sort of logging wood, and he believes the package that he's offering is reasonable. Of course they won't, the victims won't see it quite like that. The first 20 or so minutes we run through the main characters and get a sort of snapshot of what sort of people they're like. Significantly, we early on, as I acknowledged, the shotgun was out, and apparently Henry, one of his hobbies is duck shooting, for a hobby. In contrast, Walter Finch, played by Sam Neill, who's the father of Oliver, who's an old childhood friend of Christian, Henry's son. He has a sort of sanctuary on his piece of land where he takes care of injured or in need animals, and that it becomes evident at that point that he's the complete contrast to Henry. We also meet Oliver and Charlotte's daughter Hedvig, who's particularly keen on getting close to nature and is helping with the feeding of these animals who are basically injured. So we've got a picture really of lots of broken people again, which is always a good recipe for a good drama. We don't know this yet, but in a review that I read, Christian's mother committed suicide, and his relationship with his father is somewhat strained, as he believed that he didn't do everything he could to help his mother, and we early on we get a grasp of the fact that Christian is not exactly enamoured at the prospect of his stepmother being younger than himself. Anna is the housekeeper, is to become Henry's new wife. So we've got two tribes. We've got the tribe of Christian and his father Henry, and we've got the tribe of Sam Neill's family, and one gets the feeling that the heads, Messrs. Henry and Sam Neill's character, are probably diametrically opposed in terms of how they see the world, and their sort of children and family members attached sort of mesh slightly, so they overlap into either tribe, and are neither one or the other really. They're sort of they're both feeling that where their family are at isn't exactly where they sit. They're a product of disruptive childhood, and they're still trying to work out a path as to where their lives should lead, whereas the two patriarchs are steadfastly set in their ways. Christian and Oliver decide to rekindle what made them such close friends, and so they retreat to a local hostelry and get completely smashed, and appear to be rather late at getting home time, and a lot of merriment passes by their lips as they sort of retreat into late adolescence, early 20s, and play drinking games, etc., etc. So Christian arrives back far later than is expected. It's the morning of his father's wedding. His father, understandably, is pretty irate, and then, to make matters worse, he then receives a phone call from his wife back in the States, who confirms to him that she's been restarted, I sense, a relationship, a physical relationship with another man, and is sort of about to sort of basically say there that it's over. He's sort of sleepless, still slightly worse for the alcohol, and is trying to get his act together to attend his father's wedding. So he's hardly fit for anything, really. Infidelity plus more booze provokes Christian into bringing Charlotte, that's his friend Oliver's wife, to him, and secrets that haven't been told is the topic, which suggests that possibly she and Christian had a bit of a fling, possibly before she switched to Oliver, and there may well be some hidden truths as to who might be the father. Suggesting that she actually may be Christian's daughter. Oh, aren't these families just absolutely and reading back through the review that I got, I seem to have worked that one out pretty well. No, I've got it wrong. It's in fact it's his father, Christian's father, that's had the fling with his friend's wife, and his father is the father of Hedvig, making Hedvig Christian's half sister. Interesting. This is what happens when cosy families get together and the old testosterone runs amok. So I was going to tell you what happened next, but that will spoil it for you. But an action takes place, a reaction to what's said leads on to another incident, a powerful emotional reaction, and this sets off almost a firestorm at the reception. When does drama become over dramatic or unbelievable? Well, in my opinion, it gravitates to this with the secret out, and the daughter Hedvig suspects foul play when her mother tells her that her father's staying in a hotel, and her mother is also a teacher at Hedvig's school. She then goes to work, and she has to stand in for a sick teacher in Hedwig's class, which leads to her daughter getting highly emotional in the class, asking personal questions in front of all her schoolmates about her mother's behaviour, which I find would be highly unlikely because of her fear of her exposing all her dirty linen in front of all her classmates. But nevertheless, that's what we witness, and the girl storms out of the classroom to giggles from her fellow students. Let's move to the next scene. The best scene in the picture, when the two old war horses, Geoffrey Rutch and Sam Neill, lock horns, so to speak. It's worth the admission at the cinema to see these guys. Unfortunately, it's all too brief, but you'll get the gist of it. We see the worst kind of behaviour really in situations like that. It's raw, it's confrontational, it's rejecting, and a lot of it is connected with, from the male angle, it's all connected with this sort of macho belief of spawning new life, and if it's not mine, then I can't handle it. In this sort of very selfish behaviour tends to rear its head far more than on the female side, who clearly have carried the child, and regardless of the father, they will interpret it in a much more sort of understanding way, and even though they may have through a number of different circumstances of conceived with one man but brought up the child with another man, this is almost sort of acceptable, or seen as a scenario that is frequent. But the other angle, from the male point of view, brings out the worst. You know, I have experienced being a stepfather, and I found that perfectly fine, but then the absence of spawning a child myself didn't get in the way, because the career path that I took required an integral desire to bring security and love to children who were a result of this turmoil, and because of the disturbance that the children feel in this situation, they are ultimately the ones who suffer the most. When I was faced with looking after other person's children, I mean a male, then I was able to see that child as innocent of all this adult misbehaviour and deserved consideration and love and commitment just as much as children who are born into a stable scenario. They are completely innocent victims. I think it brings this out quite well in this film. This male issue, and we see it clearly with Oliver, who, in contrast to his father, just can't handle this.
That Hedwig attempts to sort of cleanse herself by getting the injured duck that was shot by her father, Henry. She's desperate to get it to fly, to be free, away from her and away from him. It's quite a symbolic sort of gesture to try and cleanse herself of her real father. Any student of adolescence knows, as they learn about this period of life, how it is a very volatile mix, and the movie moves on to Hedwig's inability to handle this trauma that she's experiencing. Her real father, her adoptive father, both males, one who has just basically satisfied his sexual curiosity, and the other has felt betrayed and can't handle the fact that he hasn't been the person responsible for the sowing of the seed, and the young girl, then retreats in isolation and likely has decided to take her own life. The choir-like music gives it away. It's sort of almost a wake, a church wake, as we look up to the sky through the trees. It's a very predictable sort of genre